welcome to Alien Theorists Theorizing Live. We're live. Never any problems live. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan again.
And I don't have any feelings of deja vu whatsoever.
No, it's just one of those days. The funny thing is I had this perfectly set up. Like, it's unbelievable. I got it all hotkeyed. It worked last week, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do a couple tweaks here and there. And I should have known, with every one thing you do, it just absolutely fucks up everything else. Yeah, so I just had to disable some things that I had set up before for this one. And lo and behold, it works. It's funny because I got a message from my internet service provider. I got a call, and I thought it was because my contract was up, which it is. We've been having issues with YouTube, so we decided to, because we didn't have any of the live streams backed up, that we would, just in case we eventually get banned, which is the inevitable future
the
inevitable run of the ATT YouTube live stream is we're banned from YouTube. That's where this ends. But so we started downloading all our old live streams, right? Which is 7 years, well, not 7 years, probably like 5 years of live streams and videos and stuff. It's an ungodly amount. I think I downloaded 65 50 gigabyte files.
Jesus.
Over the course, and I could only do so many during the day, or else it would just crush my computer. So what happened was Google will give you like a pack of like 65, and I was like, I made it to like, you only have 5 days to download everything. So I made it like halfway. I made it halfway to downloading. And then I was like, well, whatever, I'll just submit a new one and get a new 5 days. And then as soon as I got the new one, I went, what are the odds that they don't pack them the same?
Oh,
you know
no.
what I mean? So like number one doesn't have the same stuff. So just on a whim, I was like, let me download number one, and just to make sure they line up. And they don't. It's randomized every time. And I was like, oh my God. So then I had to for like 5 days, I was out in meth laboratories, like every like 4 hours on a timer, like starting the next ones to make sure I had enough time to download them all. So I got a call from my internet service provider being like, what are you using your internet for? And I was like, what? I was like, I don't know, gaming. I do some streaming and stuff. They're like, your usage it's like ungodly, the amount of like usage you've had in the past month. You've like quadrupled what you did like all last year.
You're using more bandwidth than the entire island.
Your whole you're using the bandwidth of your whole neighborhood.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I had to download all the YouTube files I've ever made. And he's like, is that something that's going to continue on? I went, no. He's like, okay, we thought it was an anomaly or something happened and something was going on your end or our end. I was like, no, I was like, just me. It's all good though. So
drag down everybody's like download rate for across the entire fucking city.
Yeah. And now before we get into tonight's ATT Live, because there's so much stuff. So much stuff we want to go over tonight, but I made a promise. Last week I talked about the videos that were sent in. Let me just make sure there's not a name on these before. Yeah, okay. This is the video that was sent to us, a UFO video. So if you sent this in, listen, he was worried he was going to get in trouble. You're not getting in trouble. You got a video of a bug here, my friend. So no one's going to get mad at you. You're not breaking any headlines here. All right, so without further ado, this is the video that got sent to us. Who's that? Astrocat Gaming. Oh, with a little wow. Thank you, Astrocat Gaming.
Fantastic.
Oh, the $9.99 gets you Owen Wilson?
Gets you Owen Wilson. Get you wow.
Well, I think there's different ones for different amounts. I think that one is gets you a little Owen Wilson. Thank you. Cheers, Astrocat Gaming.
Oh yeah.
So this was sent in to us. This is what I was talking about last week. Got in a huge fight with this person. And again, send us your UFO videos. Again, I have seen every UFO video that gets submitted to MUFON everywhere. So, just send it in, but you're going to get, hey, Sergio, thank you. Woo! We'll have to buy some Modelo's. Right now, we're just got Phillips Blue Buck on the go. Without further ado, let's check this out. It's only 22 seconds. So you see a car come to a gate.
Does it have audio?
22 seconds and your world will be changed forever.
So there's this. So you see this little thing there? If you were looking for something else, you're mistaken.
That little crawler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I looked at that and I immediately, first look, I was like, okay, what am I looking for? Did I miss it? But how I break this down is, again, I've seen so many fucking Ring cameras, so many videos of the perspective. And this person claimed that this was some sort of 20-foot, 30-foot thing above the car. And I'm going, no, whatever this thing is on the camera. And it's looking down at the car, right? And you can see it kind of crawling and wriggling around. And then it turns it's to me, it's something on the lens. And it's just whatever the low light lens is flicking with, is kind of messing with it. And we got into a 24-hour heated exchange about that. So chat, let us know what you think. And those of you wondering if that was me or Owen Wilson saying wow, I guess we'll never know. One and the same. Let's fire up the Randomatron. Let's see what we got to talk about today.
You firing it up? Didn't you get it?
Yeah, did you hear it? Are you not hearing it?
Oh, okay. I just don't hear it. Okay. Can I enter the Matrix?
Woo! First up, Cryptic Crush-a-thon.
Oh.
Look at that.
Good matchup.
Look at that matchup. We got Mothman versus the Rougarou. I didn't know. Rougarou has French Canadian origins. I thought it was Cajun. It's moved down to Cajun.
Oh no!
Right, but the
losing
interesting match. You losing me?
Oh, you're back.
Too much bandwidth on the Randomatron and all these templates. Interesting matchup tonight in the polls. I mean, for the Cryptic Crush-a-thon, you got the two heavy hitters, the Rougarou, land-based werewolf, easily confused by, is it more than 13 pennies?
Yes, if you throw a collection of more than 13 pennies, he is compulsively, compelled to count those pennies, much like vampire lore, but yeah, it's very similar.
Yeah. So it just doesn't know what to do. So, it's a tough one. They're both size and weight, pretty similar. I mean, Rougarou, sharp claws. He's got a nasty bite. That was his forte. So it's really anyone's.
The Mothman is the bringer of doom, though.
Yes, the harbinger of doom. We don't know a lot about Mothman because there is no survivors.
Any mass casualty accident the world's ever seen has probably been orchestrated by Mothman himself.
Yeah, so it's it's interesting. So we want to hear from you. You guys, let us know. We got a poll up. Let us know what you think. Who's gonna take this Mothman or Rougarou? We'll take a look at the end of the show, what the polls and what the actual outcome is. But like I said, it's evenly stacked. I mean, if Rougarou is going to get a hand of him, I imagine those claws would damage those wings if he can't fly.
What's the weather like in the battle?
Oh, it's gonna be inside a ring, so it's a dome. So you wouldn't have any weather. Weather wouldn't be a consideration.
No wind, no rain would affect the Mothman's wings.
No.
Okay.
Hey, who wants a Pepsi? Hey, thank you, Trent Jones. Thank you for that little tip there. Get this man a Pepsi. Now, it's the other thing is, to me, is that's going to be the deciding factor. If the Rougarou can get the Mothman to stay on the ground, then I think the Rougarous might dice him up. But that's a big if, right? They're both heavy weight advantage. So if Mothman comes flying down like I was going to say like a peregrine falcon, but I guess he's going to come down like a moth.
Slow and kind of erratic.
A little like
bouncing around.
How many lights are in the arena, Dan? Is this going to be an issue? Is this going to be an issue? Are lights going to play a factor? Are the bright lights going to be too bright?
It could be. I mean, it could be a factor, but even if it were, then the Mothman would just stay up in the rafters. Like, I mean, he may strike from the lights. Who knows? Using them to his advantage.
I could definitely see like a pretty big advantage going to Mothman in this one just for the flight, because you come down on top of him, or if he's got a pocket full of pennies. Game over, right?
Yeah, both of them have some supernatural tricks up their sleeves. I mean, if you look at the Mothman, he probably has some small form of prescience at this point, since he is, as you guys said, he's the harbinger of doom and or guardian, considered something like that. Like so he may have a type of predictive talent. He may be able to see a little bit into the future, predict movements and such. I think also people have described the eerie glow that the Mothman has with his red eyes. So maybe that plays into might play into something. Some kind of hypnotic effect is what some people kind of claim when you stare into the crimson red eyes of the Mothman. Rougarou also has some supernatural abilities, if I recall correctly from our case file, that he does. There is some type of magical abilities associated with the Rougarou. If I remember, some kind of, I think it also has some kind of either psychic or not telekinetic, but perhaps like
wasn't
some
the
kind
Rougarou
of hypnotic.
really good at dice games or something? Wasn't that how you become a Rougarou?
You play too much dice.
Too much dice, too much coin.
And you can become a Rougarou.
Yeah, we'll see if the Mothman falls for the old dice trick, I guess.
Yeah. So, it's if you pair these together, I would have to, as much as the chat's leaning towards heavily, I think the power of flight, we know Mothman probably has some claws as well. So I would also have to lean into Mothman taking this one. But again, we'll look at more into the show. I think everything we're going to talk about from here on out basically falls into space news. Should be like UFO news or some shit, because goddamn, I cannot wait for this next congressional UFO hearing, because they're going to have some stuff to talk about. And the worst part about it is I wish these last two like UFO events had come out like a month or two earlier, so maybe some questions could have been asked, because what's going to happen is we're going to have to wait till the next congressional UFO hearing. They're going to ask about these two things. They're going to go, we'll get back to you. And we're going to have to wait another 6 months down the line until we get something back from that. Probably the biggest story that's been popping off on UFO Twitter, making headlines around, is that, once again, we have a government whistleblower coming out and saying that, the United States has recovered crafts of non-human origin.
For a while. Right? They've been recovering them for a while.
And then actively hiding it. And keeping the secret from us, right? Hiding the truth. Now, what do you guys think about, what was his name? David Grunch?
David Grush.
Grush
or Grush? No, I'm not sure. I haven't watched any of the video things. Yeah, he's supposed to give an hour-long interview tonight on News Nation, which is I guess it's like a news program on Hulu.
It's the Nation of News, Dan.
Right.
It's right in the name.
Right. But it's broadcast on Hulu, so they're picking him up, and I guess they had him, or they're having him come on tonight. I think it's either happened or is happening right now. That they have an hour-long interview with David Grush, who is, give it a little background on him. He's a former intelligence official who led some of the analysis of the unexplained anomalous phenomenon, UAP, which he worked for the U.S. Department of Defense, one of the agencies within there, and he has gone ahead and made these claims that, like Zell said, that the U.S. government has been collecting non-human craft for decades, and that they've been keeping that information illegally from Congress. And he's gone ahead and filed a complaint that he suffered illegal retaliation for his disclosure, for his confidential disclosure. So stuff that was kept confidential, but when he went on, when he went ahead and talked about these things, that he suffered some kind of retaliation. Exactly what inform, I'm not 100% clear about what it is.
And from what I've gathered and what I've read and some interviews and stuff that I've listened to, is that he's not just saying this. He's come with some classified reports that is basically pointing who to talk to, what questions to ask to uncover this information. Because from what I've heard, it's one of those friend of a friend kind of things where it's he's like, hey, Liz, I didn't see this stuff, but I know these people in these situations have.
Yeah, found fragments of craft, non-human origin. They don't necessarily say extraterrestrial origin, just unknown.
What makes this one so exciting, to the UFO community, is that other intelligence officials, both retired and non-retired and active, have seemed to have gotten on and kind of corroborated either his story, Grush's story, or they have voted pretty much they've backed up that Grush is who he says he is, and that his credentials are legit. He is most of them going over his exemplary service record and the ways that he served the United States government. And he's worked in his certain roles. They've said that, his credibility is not to be taken lightly. It is something that him coming out and saying these things lends it a bit of heft, lends it some weight. And so those officials have said, he's if he's saying these things, you might want to take him more seriously than some dude preaching it on a street corner.
Yeah. It's what's going on, Mason Peterson. Some of the things that I've seen online and popping off is that people were after this came out, they were like, shit, what's the guy who's running the congressional UFO hearings? What's the guy's name? Do you remember the guy's name?
Kirkpatrick. You're talking about Kirkpatrick? Yeah.
So everyone was shitting on him because they're like, well, if this just came out and this guy's saying that they're hiding it from him, he might be in the know, which means then he's maybe not answering truthfully in these congressional UFO hearings. Now, the thing is I kind of went back and listened to the second one. And I found it interesting. It just kind of popped in my head that I wish someone would have asked him, because he consistently says from my knowledge, we have nothing from light years away, extraterrestrial. We have nothing. He's very specific on outer space, nothing from light years away. But I was I wish someone there said, what Zell said, intraterrestrial?
Could be.
Right? Are these things maybe coming from the seas? Right? And that's why he was so specific in the broad. It was listen, right? Or if that's the thing, he's I know we didn't recover any of these things from space, but if it's an archaeological find, he's we didn't find it in space. We found it on Earth. It was buried. Right? And he's I'm not lying.
Bob Lazar's just stretching his hands right now. He's I told you.
Fucking toe to toe.
Yeah, I'd also say it is a UAP task force. Their responsibility just from the name alone is aerial phenomenon. So it's it wouldn't. I would wonder if that those kinds of discoveries would be put under their purview.
I fall under there. Fucking bull. There's such semantics. Well, they found it underground. It wasn't in the air. It's not. Unfortunately, no one's asked about those, and we don't have a task force. So,
or just when they submit their request for information, to the other agencies, they'd be well, we don't have to give them that one because we found it underground, or we recovered it after it crashed. It wasn't in the air; it was in pieces on the ground. So I don't, it could be something like that.
Yeah, possibly. Now, I kind of like. There's more. Obviously, we're going to listen to. Once this is done, I'm going to watch I'm tuning into News Nation. That's where I get all my news. Every day. I've never heard of it before, but from now on, this is where I'm getting all my news. And I'm going to watch this because I'm interested to see what happens. Because as this story popped up, I get weird deja vu from stuff like this because we've been covering this topic and doing this kind of research for so long. Did you guys not think didn't we just do something about this a couple of years ago? Did that ring a bell for you guys? Seeing the non-human craft story?
I mean, that's something that in its various forms, we've always seemed to talk about when it's those who have come forward, in some way or another through official channels or kind of on their own, maybe speaking at a convention or, speaking at a press conference that somebody is holding. It's usually something to this effect that it's, recovering non-terrestrial or not human craft. Yeah.
So I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, looking into this, and because I was God damn, I really feel like we've done this before. And I was like, this is new news, but I was I wonder if this is an old story. So the people who wrote this, where was it? The debrief.
Yeah.
The debrief are, I have their names written down, Leslie Keane and Ralph Blumenthal. Mm-hmm. They wrote the article.
Right.
Now, if you go back in our Space News, you probably have to go back 2 years or something. It might be on the intro of a case file. But we talk about a story from the New York Times about an Eric Davis he claims that the government's hiding basically the same story, crafts of non-human origin, and they talk about all this stuff. And Eric Davis is he's worked on Skinwalker Ranch. He's worked with Robert Bigelow and all this stuff. And this article came out in 2020 in the New York Times. And I know we talked about it because I remember.
Well, that was the original, the Arrow program, the Leslie Keane and the Ralph Blumenthal, they broke that story about the original one where we sank a bunch of money, $800,000 went into there. And what did we get? Exactly.
And they're looking for goblins.
And that's where you get Robert Bigelow, and he came in a big player and his hangar in Las Vegas where he's keeping all his metamaterials or recovered metamaterials that they've gotten apparently. Now, the interesting thing is that this article on Debrief, or that article by the New York Post, was also by Leslie Keane and Ralph Blumenthal. They're the same authors, and that story kind of went on the big circuit, right? Did the big circuit, the big clickbait circuit around everything. We touched it. We're we can't wait to find information, and seemingly there's been no information from that until now, and it's very similar, the same story. Now, I'm not. Saying that, I'm still cautiously optimistic that we might get something cool with that because we have the UFO task force going on and the congressional UFO hearings, that maybe we might get some more answers to this. But it did strike me as interesting that it's the same people writing the same articles with this, this exact same thing, right? So I'm a little hesitant on that point. Grush makes a lot of claims about what kind of went on. He makes comments about the recoveries, or again, like we said, he
makes a lot of claims for his friend of a friend.
Right. He didn't have any direct interaction with any of these recoveries or these recovery efforts. Apparently, he's just kind of saying things that he's heard during his time working within the United States Department of Defense agencies, and he's talking about how the U.S. government has recovered things from partial fragments up until completely intact vehicles that they have recovered, and that there are within the U.S. government and among its allies and defense contractors, they've all kind of piecemealed out these things, that they've contracted people to reverse engineer some of these materials and some of these craft. when they did the analysis on these, he's saying that they determined that these objects were of exotic origin, non-human intelligence or extraterrestrial or unknown origin. It's not exactly clear, but they're not, characterized as pretty much non-human, that they wouldn't be able to be built with the current technology that we have. And they base this conclusion apparently on the vehicle morphologies and the material science testing and the possession that these materials have of types of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures that they hadn't seen before. So therefore, they came to the conclusion that these are not things that are manufactured here on Earth or with techniques that are currently known within the defense community.
Well, and the interesting thing too is he's also saying that like he aside from crafts and stuff, he had like non-human materials, non-terrestrial materials, which kind of goes hand in hand with like Tom DeLonge and what they're doing at To the Stars Academy. And their claims of having non-terrestrial materials, like I'm like, just show what? Can't you go on News Nation? I'm sure News Nation, are they like, how booked is News Nation that they can't get you on here to show us some non-terrestrial materials? And
furthermore, he even went to apparently he's done like one interview so far. I know he did like a preliminary interview for News Nation, and then like the big one was coming out this week, I think. And like in this follow-up interview after like the debrief stuff came out, and then it got published in a couple other, I think like The Guardian had a thing about it, popped up in a couple tabloids and things like that. I think The Guardian and The Hill kind of are the two most reputable ones at this point. And then there was some rumor of like a New York Times, a Washington Post, like they had gotten wind of the story, but they wanted to take a minute to verify some sources, and they haven't put anything out about it yet. But Grush went on to claim that not only did they recover materials and craft, but they also recovered the pilots of those bodies. That they have recovered bodies of these of the intelligences or whatever the organisms that were seemingly piloting this craft or were being transported by these craft. The sizes of these craft apparently varied very much. Like they were either, he said one of the craft was like as large as a football field.
Thank you, Leon Cherry. Andrew, interject. Thanks for that.
Sorry. And then he's also saying that the U.S. actually took possession of a bell-like craft, which Benito Mussolini's government had recovered in northern Italy as far back as 1933.
Yeah, De Glocke, man. That's De Glocke, right? We've seen plans about it, but when these stories come out, I'm like, instantly I want to know more. So I'm so excited for the interview tonight, and I'm so excited for the next UFO congressional hearing, because I'm hoping that
I'm not holding my breath at all.
No, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'll tell you right now. What's going to happen is the next one, they're going to go, what about this guy? And they're like, well, unfortunately, you didn't ask about this guy last time. So we'll see what we can do for next time.
I think
Any more questions?
I think the Guardian reached out to Nick Pope, our buddy, our personal friend of the show.
Personal friend.
And Nick Pope was pretty cautious about his kind of coming to a conclusion that these claims are all that they seem to be. He was saying that there's probably 3 key pieces of information that we really need that will lend more weight to the claims that Grush is making. You say number 1, like you need the project name or the office name of what Grush was working on, or what where these recovery efforts were going through. Also, number 2, you'd probably want to know who the person in charge of that was, the director or the commanding officer, whoever was kind of put in charge of these efforts, and then probably what agency. Third and finally, what agency that was embedded in. So whether it's the CIA, any of the alphabet, FBI, CIA, DOD, DARPA, whatever, any of those, like where is it coming from? Those, if you get any one of those, like you'll get closer to figuring out exactly what's going on.
Or you got to show a craft.
Yeah,
that too. Just the bodies.
Like if you had think about it. If you had that craft, you would do the full world circuit. You'd be the world's most famous man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I have an alien craft. Here it is. Come look at it. Take some pictures. Then you're dead, I guess.
It's
dead and gone.
Yeah.
It's in my garage, I guess.
They steal it, and then you make one out of wood and tinfoil. And they're like, "That's just wood and tinfoil." You're like, "I had the real one, but it was stolen."
It was stolen.
The story is old as time.
I had a real Bigfoot body, but then he said, "This is just a bunch of possums." Like, well, I just made a replica of it.
The CIA stole it. Before we get into the next story, a bunch of hypotheticals is being asked in the chat. I'm going to pull one up here. This is the first one I'm seeing. It's from Andrew Ward. He says, would you rather eat pizza till you explode or chicken nuggets until you explode?
Probably pizza.
But explode, does it just mean like it's shitting your pants?
No, I think he means like you literally, your skin tears and you're like, you're so full of pizza that you would just erupt.
What was that, like Yoshi's Island commercial? There was a commercial for, I remember, like a long time, so seared in my memory, where the guy just like keeps eating until he explodes. It was like a Super Nintendo game. I just remember the ad for it. I think it was Yoshi's Island.
Well, it's no brainer because pizza is way better.
Yeah, I think pizza is way better, and I think pizza could do it to me. Like if the goal is to actually explode, I think pizza could do it because I don't know if there's a number of chicken nuggets that I eat where I die in any scenario. Like, I don't think there's a lethal limit of chicken nuggets, but I definitely think there's a lethal limit of pizza that I can eat.
Of the cheese and
Yeah, like
the dough.
It would just, and everything. It's just so heavy, but like, dead. But
yeah, it's a Yoshi's Island commercial. I just found it on YouTube. The guy keeps eating until he fucking explodes. It is disgusting. And that was like a real commercial.
The next story we're going to talk about tonight. This is a case file in the making. Like we are at the early stages of seeing a future case file, stuff that we're going to be talking about, like much like various encounters that we've talked about throughout time. We're at the early stages of this one. We don't know witnesses' names yet. We don't have a lot of interviews with the people. But if you don't know, what I'm talking about is I'm talking about the Las Vegas UFO sighting that happened. I think it was May 1st. May 1st has happened. An absolute incredible story coming from Vegas. Basically what happened is the thing that sparks this initial call is a 911 call. And the 911 call is basically someone like being like, something came down in my backyard and there's 8-foot creatures in the backyard. There's creatures. You can go look up the YouTube audio of this, type in Las Vegas UFO 911 call. I think if we play it, I think instant ban. We'll just get that strike a little bit quicker if we play it. I think if you go to the guy, one of the witnesses is his YouTube channel is Alien Space Society 51. And he has one video where he kind of posts a compilation of everything. But his 911 call, he calls, he goes, there's some 8-foot people. And then he goes, they're not people. They're some sort of creatures. They got big eyes. And the 911 operator's like what? And he's like, they're not people. They're some sort of creatures. They're standing back there. Something came down. Right? We've heard these wild phone calls before. We've heard all this. But the interesting thing about this one is we start to instantly get corroboration. Earlier in the night, just before that 911 call, Las Vegas police officers were responding to another call where their body cam catches something coming down from the sky, right? And they see something and they make a comment to it. So I think I can show this video, this portion of the video silent. You see the police officers talking to someone. And oh no, this isn't the body cam. This is them talking about the creature. I'll see if I can cue it up here in a second. But basically, like the body cam catches this green light coming down, and then these officers are talking about like, yeah, I saw some lights coming down. Then they receive this 911 call of being like, hey, listen, there's someone calling saying there's 8-foot creatures. And they're caught on the body cam saying the only reason they're taking this call seriously is because officers in the area saw something come down, like corroborated the evidence. They're like, and they have it on a body cam footage of something something like some green light. Looks like it's just coming down from the sky. And I just found it right here. So let's view this. This is officer body cam from earlier in the night. If you watch the just above that bright white light to the right of the car, you'll see something coming down here. And they're dealing with something else when you see, boom, something coming down, some sort of green light.
Yeah, some greeny blue light.
Yeah. And then they go to the call. They go to the call and talk to people. They're like, yeah, we had 8-foot creatures in the back and they vanished. And if you go to Alien Space Society 51, he talks about his account. He says like, hey, I'm not trying to be famous. He's only posted one video. It's not like he has a previous YouTube channel. Like he's posted this. And then he goes like, I'm not trying to get famous. I'm just telling you what happened and letting you this is it. This is obviously going viral. Everyone's talking about this. You can go check out the videos. There's other videos of people, because they had cell phones, of people like looking through the cell phones, and you can kind of see some tractors in the back, and people are zooming in, trying to make what they can to see if they like, is that the alien? Is this the alien? I think I have one of these. Hold on, let's see if I can find this. So this is one of the footage from the family, right? They're filming and they're looking for these things. Hold on, and someone freezes this. So that's a truck he was working on when something came down, and now someone freezes it, and they say that what you're seeing here is a head and one of the eyes obstructed. Right? But I'm like, I mean, goddamn, that's hard. It's hard to say, right? Like it's a tough one for me to.
The alien's just standing in the middle of the road under a street lamp in the distance.
Yeah, and this is the other one here of them when they after they call and they're shooting the video. So some people say if you watch the fence line, there's something that moves in the fence line.
At the bottom of the fence, I watched this one, they say there's you can see the eyes and the hands at the bottom.
And something, moves off to the side, right of the way.
It's right here, if you were to pause it and zoom in.
But this guy shines a light, you know what I mean? Like if you
hop over the fence the other way though, quickly.
Yeah, maybe. And then they run back.
So they heard it.
She seems to be looking at the fence.
Oh, you just put your gun in your pocket. It's like a gun.
Oh, he does have a pistol.
You just put your gun in the pocket.
Look at this. Hold on. That's a pistol, right? Look at that. Do you see that?
He was just putting that in his pocket. I mean, he's just trying to put it in his pocket. That doesn't seem safe to me, but okay.
No.
I don't know what that's. All right.
Right. Interesting stuff though coming out from there. So it's like, it's weird where this one's going to go. Obviously our boy George Knapp already on
He's all over it. Yeah.
Sure.
He's got a binder full of notes.
Yep.
Now he's said basically already, he's like, I've interviewed the witnesses and he cannot detect a hint of a hoax.
Then he's at odds with James Fox, who did a full 180. James Fox, producer, director of, or what was it, the Virginia, and then he did a couple of the documentaries that we've talked about on the show. The most recent one what was it called? Not The Phenomenon, it was the other one. I think he did The Phenomenon too. But
he did The Phenomenon. The other one is
the one we just
Virginia
talked about.
One.
Yeah, we just talked about that one. But apparently he was full on board, and then within 48 hours or 24, 48 hours, he was like, no. He's like, this is a hoax.
But why? Did he give any reasons?
There's some
because he also produced, in my opinion, one of the worst UFO documentaries I've ever seen. He's just rehashing of everything and had one guy crying in a field.
There's some stuff running around that the videos that at least the one really official one that made the first rounds, the one that everybody was zooming in and really making real, red circles everywhere and everybody trying to be this is the alien.
If you
this
squint
is it.
And turn your head sideways.
If you watch it upside down and you kind of, if you put your hands in front of your eyes and look at it, then you'll able to see the alien creature opening up its eyes or something like that and everything. He was saying that there's some audio. People are saying that there's some audio pulled from there that isn't native to the actual recording itself. That's been edited in. There's also talk about apparently in one of the phone calls or one of the reports that the kid made, he talked about there being like a evidence of like something landing, like a circle or something like that. And then people were calling that out, saying that if you look on Google Maps at the exact location, like there's a circle there, but that circle's been there for like months, years, like apparently.
Yeah, but maybe it's one of those things where he's just attributing that after the fact. Like, I'm just giving this kid the benefit of the doubt when he calls, like he's going out there and he's like, hey, this is where it happened. And look at this, there's a circle here. And he's just making connection, never noticed it before. But now you have internet sleuths going through and being like, he's obviously lying. Well, it's like, maybe he never saw that before. Because my thing is, you have, like, if you watch the body cam of the cops come, they're like, hey, we weren't going to take this seriously, but we saw something come down. And then they're like, they went back, they check it out. They're like, hey, we don't see anything there. And they're like, yeah, they left. And they go, deal with this yourself if they come back. We want nothing to do with this.
And then some people also pointed out how it seems a little bit strange that the kid who his YouTube channel popped up like a week after this occurred, and like just before the story broke, he published the channel. And then he's had other alien themed YouTube channels before.
Remove them?
Well, yeah, like, all 51. He's on iteration 51.
He's had other YouTube channels that have hosted like alien related content, apparently. So there is.
But we don't even know this kid's name right now. Like you cannot find this kid's name. It's not public knowledge right now. I haven't seen anything because I saw the reports being like, this guy's been posting nonstop. I couldn't find one other channel that I could attribute to this guy with him, like with this kid. Oh, let's see it. So if anyone can find it, show us.
Yeah, or if they've been removed, if you see this guy, then,
right? Like, this is him letting you know. If you see him on another channel, being like, "Yo, this is me on my alien channel.
It's your boy.
It's your boy. Smash that like and subscribe button. Let us know because we're interested." But like, I watched the full 7-minute video he posted, and I was like, it seems legit. He just has compiled. He's like, this is what happened. If you look here, this is what this video is. Like, it's interesting to hear him talk about it. I didn't think for a second I watched the videos and I didn't go like, all right, this is chopped up. I'll say the same thing I say with every video. If this is me, I would run the video way longer. Just saying, if you're filming an event, leave no room for doubt. Wait till you walk back in your house and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to end the camera, and then end it. When there's an abrupt like cut to footage, I always go, was that a turn off randomly? Like, or was there something, did they go, oh, it was nothing, right? You know what I mean? Like, just let it run out. Just for the people listening.
Raw, uncut. Yeah. That's what we want.
Yeah, raw, uncut. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I don't give much weight to what James Fox says. I give way more weight to what my boy George Knapp says, especially now that we know that he was right with. He's been right all along.
Everything.
Right. Zell, are we going to open the Cosmic Lines tonight?
We have the capability.
Woo! You know what that means? You can call right now, 1-833-703-0424. Last bit of the show here. If you want to call in, you got any questions, we'll take your questions. You got any good story? They got to be goddamn good stories you're calling in. After we had the greatest story ever told. Never finished. The greatest story never finished last week.
Greatest story started 4 times.
4 times. Where were they going? I saw some people on the Facebook group, posting like a video compilation of like maps and stuff. I thought I was kind of having a good laugh at that. But I'd be interested. So yeah, if you want to call that, numbers on the screen, 1-833-703-0424. Now's the time. Call. Ask a question.
Ask a question, give a theory.
Theory.
Short story, a quick story.
Let us know. But with the Vegas one, I think it's too early just to jump on one way or another. This is legit. It's a hoax. Because goddamn, is it convenient? Was this kid just waiting for something to see an unidentified object? Or are we then going to say that he went as far as to like what the officers caught that green orb is also his doing to like add credibility to this?
You want to take a call?
Yeah, let's take it.
All right. Let's bring someone on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hi. Yes. Can you hear me?
We got you.
You're a little quiet. I'm going to turn you up.
This is Bandito. Okay.
What's going on, Bandito?
Nothing. So I called about the alien thing or the possible UFO thing last week, but I have a possible ghosty thing this time. But it also could just be, I like to say, a brain tumor. I don't know. So let me tell you about it, and then you guys
Lay it
tell me
on
to
us.
decide.
Okay.
Okay, so all of my grandparents have passed. When my dad's mom passed, way back when I was in junior high, so like 90s, she and my sister were pretty close. And when she passed, my sister would smell her perfume just randomly places. And it was a perfume that you couldn't buy anymore. It was a bottle that she'd had for a really long time, that kind of thing. So it's not like she was just randomly smelling on people, like, because it's in the store. It was, you know, a discontinued type of thing. Well, my other grandma, okay, wait, go back to this one. So her and I went camping up at her cabin one spring break, and she has a thing about always closing the upstairs blinds because the sun comes in and it heats the upstairs up, and it's just a cabin. There's no like AC or anything. It's just windows. So we went out to the river, and when we came back, she swears that she didn't put the curtains down because my grandma passed, whatever. It was just us. We didn't care if it was open, and it was spring break, so it wasn't really hot. But when we came back from the river, we looked up at that window as we're walking in, and the blinds are down. And these are old, tough blinds. Like you had to like really pull to the side to get them to drop, you know, and it was just a very weird thing. And at that point we were like, okay, we're going to go home now. We were going to stay another couple days, but we decided to turn around and just pack up and go home. She was freaked out. I didn't really care. Didn't really bother me, but she was.
But didn't actually see like an apparition. Just the curtains were closed.
No, just yeah. And like I said, they were really tough. So it's not like they could have slid down on their own. They never had before. It would have been a really weird thing to have it happen on its own at that time.
Is she a boozer?
No.
Okay.
No,
well, scratch that off the list.
And at the time, she was 18, and I would have been 16. So. Technically too young to drink.
Technically, but
so
we were all there.
Yeah. Technically. Okay, so then my other grandma, my mom's mom, was a super heavy smoker. Like she would smoke in her prime a carton a day or a carton in a day and a half. Like she was a smoker. And I can't stand cigarette smoke. It gets into my nose and it just burns, and I just can't get rid of it. Well, for several years now, I just at random times will just start smelling cigarette smoke. I can be completely alone. I can be at work completely alone in a big post office. I could be in the car driving on the freeway with the windows up. I can be at my house where nobody in my house currently smokes. And I will just start smelling cigarette smoke. And when the other people are around, I'll ask them like, oh God, do you guys smell that? Is someone around here smoking? And nobody else smells it. Like nobody. And they're like, no, we don't smell it. I'm like, oh, it's just me again. So I don't know. I think I'm being haunted by my grandma.
She's just following you around, puffing smoke in your face.
Hacking darts.
I guess she didn't like me. Like she loved my sister because it was her first grandchild. And she loved my brother because he's the only boy and the youngest. I was the middle child, so I'm that typical middle child got screwed kind of thing, in my opinion. But she just didn't like me. She didn't really like anybody. She was kind of a grumpy old lady.
Did she like your siblings?
But yeah, I smell. Yes. So she just didn't really like me.
Here's maybe a comforting thought.
So,
maybe she follows you because she's not worried about them. And she's more interested in you because she was worried. She's like, Bandito was always into trouble. I better keep an eye on her. Right. And that's why she's following you and not them. Because she's like, you know what I mean? Like she's like, I don't got to worry about those other two.
Okay. But I'm the perfect child. I'm like never in trouble. My sister's the one who ran away. My brother's the one who got kicked out of the house. I'm like the perfect child. I really was. I was the middle child who took care of the older sister, took care of the younger brother, made sure everybody was good after school. You know what I mean? Like I was always a perfect kid. And I still am. But I've looked into it because it happens a lot. And there is like a brain thing for like senses or for smells. But usually it's like when people smell like toast or...
Yeah. Does that mean you're having a stroke or something?
Yeah. Someone's having a stroke.
Yeah, that's having a stroke.
Yeah. So there's that one. And like there's other things that go along with certain smells. But cigarette smoke is like really low on the list. Not a lot of people report that one. There's other smells like cinnamon and toast and like I think it's like peaches or something kind of weird. But like I said, I just always smell smoke. So I kind of feel like I'm just always being haunted. Like there's always something or someone, maybe not my grandma, but somebody else always around me that's smoking. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to tell.
Yeah. Or you're just on the cusp of an aneurysm at all times. There's really
that could be. At some point I'm just gonna stroke out.
Yeah, there's really only two options.
Awesome. All right, we're going to keep the lines rolling, but we appreciate y'all.
Bandito, just before you go, what do you think of the Vegas UFO?
So I didn't really see anything on it until you talked about it, but then I remembered that I did see a TikTok of somebody breaking down that fence video, and I just saw the broken down part where they were like, again, circling like you were saying, and they talked about some big shadow thing that came over, like an 8-foot shadow thing that came up behind the fence as they were kind of going through it or kind of walking up to it. As they were also showing the little head and fingers at the bottom of the fence. But then when I saw the full video that you just played, they had a flashlight. The flashlight is obviously going to be making the shadow come over the fence. So that to me is explainable. The weird little fingery things, I mean, that could just be a play of the wood. I mean, the green light could have been just like a meteorite falling in that Zell needs to go take a bite of.
Well, the interesting thing about this one is like, if this witness is a hoaxer, if he is a hoaxer, he's put himself on the line because he's committed a felony by calling 911 and committing a hoax.
Right. I mean, there very well could have been something that fell into his backyard or, in the area, which is obviously why the cops got the body cam footage. But, if you see a shooting star and you're like, oh, like I've been waiting for this day because now I can, do this thing that I've been thinking about doing. Maybe they've done that type of thing. But, hopefully there's more information.
The thing in that video is like, I'm like, the other thing about that video I don't give any credit to that. Like, oh, maybe there's something behind the bush. If you look through the windows and this nonsense, you can see something. But like the fact that they had like one of them had a gun out, I was like, it feels like something was going on. But
well, I mean, he's looking for trespassers. At that point, to me, that would be he's looking for a human trespasser.
Yeah, but he's opening his gate, so it's not his property in the back. They're leaving their property, right? They're leaving the gated part of the property. They could have property
behind the gate. Like maybe that's like their parking area, behind the gate. I don't know. But, like an alleyway or something, right?
Possibly. All right, Bandito, we're going to let you go. Get another call on. If you want to call the Cosmic Lines, 1-833-703-0424.
All right.
Peace.
Thanks for calling.
Bye, guys.
Someone just posted this on Facebook. This Sean Paulkinen says this is from a military-based newspaper in the U.S., and you see David Grunch, 3rd Space Experimentation Squadron. I think that's what it says there. I can't read it, it's so blurry. And
yeah, Grush has a legit record. Like he is a real dude. Like let's see, what is it?
He is real.
List of stuff. Yeah, he is a real person, an actual person. Let's see, what is it? See, Grush, like his stuff, he's 36. He's apparently a decorated former combat officer from in Afghanistan. He's a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, and the National Reconnaissance Office, NRO. He served as the Reconnaissance Office's representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force from 2019 to 2021. And then from 2021 to July 2022, he was the NGA's co-lead on the UAP analysis and its representative to the task force.
They're legit.
So he has...
Those are credentials.
Did you not already say that at the start of the show? Or did I just think you said that?
No. I said I said that he had worked for the... I said that he was an intelligence office official with the UAP, U.S. Department of Defense Agency. Okay, I didn't talk about that. So yeah, I didn't.
I got a feeling of deja vu, and I was like, wait, did Dad say something, or I just make that up?
No.
All right, we got one more caller here. Let's bring him on.
Let's go.
Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
You are on now. You are on live.
Holy hell! It's like a dream come true.
Dream bigger.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
You can do better, buddy.
This could be my pipe dream.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm John. I'm calling from Portland, Oregon.
John from Oregon.
Not too far.
So is it any stories or encounters tonight, or
stories,
what?
questions, thoughts on theories, whatever you want. You got 5 minutes.
So I've got one. Okay, cool. I'll go quick. I've been listening since the prolapse days. Been meaning to call for a couple of years. Finally got the chance. So I got an alien one, I think,
Perfect.
for you here. So you guys had a caller probably a couple of years ago. Similar interaction, similar location. So I grew up in Northern California, kind of in between Lodi and Stockton, if you guys know where that is at all. And coming home late one night, this is all like farmland and stuff out here. Trying to get home way past curfew. I'm flying down these country roads, and there's a couple cars in front of me. Everyone's kind of slowing down. There's this giant kind of bright light hovering over one of these country roads, and didn't think anything of it. You know, a lot of times you get crop dusters or helicopters out there late at night, a lot of times, not trying to like spook cattle and stuff during the day. Kind of slow down, see the cars kind of slowing down in front of me. It's probably 100 feet above the road. I slow down, have my sunroof open, not a sound, but it's bright to the point where it's like not emanating light. So like the ground wasn't lit up, but just this bright light in the sky. And I remember this really weird, like calm feeling. And then don't really remember much from there. Kind of just ended up home. No loss of time or anything like that. Like from when I was rushing home to get from curfew to when I got home, we're probably talking 5 to 10 minutes from where this interaction was to my house. So like no time change, but remember the bright light. And then the next thing I know, I'm talking to my mom as I'm coming in for curfew. Weirdest experience of my life. Don't really have an explanation for it, but first thing that kind of came to mind, because we used to get weird lights and stuff out there all the time. And it sounds like from other callers that have called in, this isn't the only time it's happened there.
What color was the light? Was there like a certain,
so what do you guys
on the spectrum? Like, was it like a yellowish, a whitish, greenish?
I initially thought it was like a yellowish whitish, which is why I didn't think anything of it. I kind of thought helicopter or crop duster or something, because again, that's what we're used to out there. But it wasn't moving, kind of just floating there, and that was it. But the weird thing was that it was silent, like absolutely silent and not moving. But like, it's hard to describe like a size of the light, but it like wasn't something small. Like it catches your attention, and it was very low to the ground.
Was it moving? Did you say it was moving? Like, did you lose sight of it eventually, or did you just?
No.
No.
No, it was standing still. So this was the weird thing. it was standing still, and I remember like kind of driving under it like a couple other cars had. And then this is the weird, like, don't really have a great memory of what happened next. I was just kind of pulling into my driveway all of a sudden. But there was like no like time loss or anything.
And when you say pulling, you were walking though, right?
No, I was driving.
Case, but the no real time loss?
No.
Now,
no, it was driving. So where this like happened on this country road, because I've taken this road a million times in my life, it was about 5 to 10 minutes from my house. And I remember flying down the road because I'm trying to make curfew home. And from when I'd kind of looked at my clock, seen the light, and like gotten home, it's in that like 5 to 10 minute range.
For me, I'm just going to ask a question, just because this is where my brain goes to, and I'm not saying that this is it. I'm just there's like a difference like of what you experience, like the nothingness, and say like what someone might experience, like, you know, when you drive down, you're driving for a highway for a while, and you just kind of get in your thought, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't even remember driving the road.
Driving hypnosis.
Yeah, driving hypnosis. Like you don't think it's like it's abrupt. Like, is it different than that?
It was different than that because I remember like seeing the cars in front of me slow down. So I like rolled my like windows down to be like, what's going on? Like, why are people slowing down?
And then blank.
Like I remember, and then blank until I'm pulling into my driveway.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that all abductions prior to this, they just had the technology to just drop you back instantaneously, but they just like, they couldn't get their dials all fucking dialed up. So it was like people were missing like 2-hour windows. They're like, we got to sort this shit out.
So I'm the test case. I was perfectly timed.
Yeah, perfectly timed. Just like, bam, gotcha, and back down. You didn't even know what happened.
Yeah, it was weirdest experience. And like, it's the only time that anything like this has ever happened to me. Like, I've seen lights and stuff, but like nothing like this. Like this was very much like, that's weird. What's going on? And then all of a sudden I'm home.
Do you have, do you know your blood type?
Not off the top of my head. I have a card somewhere with it on it.
What's the
RH negative?
It's not RH negative.
I don't think they don't put that on your blood type card.
You should find out. I don't know. Don't they?
I don't think
you're A or AB
I think I'm something positive.
They don't put RH negative.
I think I'm something positive.
All right.
They'll give you your
you have
value.
You have to get specific. Yeah, they give you a specific test for that. But that most document.
But I do remember getting home and telling my mom, kind of like, hey, like, I think I was like just looking at this light, and she was like, were you drinking tonight? And I was like, no, I just drove home. Like, what do you want? So just wanted to share. Thought you guys, if anybody would be able to appreciate
definitely.
It, so.
But yeah, it's impossible to say what it really happened. Fucking weird. It's weird if that's
no idea. If you ever figure it out,
stuck with you though, so obviously it affected you.
Should try some
20 years ago, man.
Hypnotic regression, man. Why not? Who knows? Unlock the horrors.
Regression, maybe some
what other traumas will you unlock?
Unlock the traumas and then call us back.
All of a sudden, he was actually on the spaceship for a week.
Yeah. My whole life is a lie. I was fighting the battles in the caves of Mars. I had a life.
Well,
I had a family.
Well, thank you,
all
fellas.
Right, hey, thanks for the call.
I appreciate the time. Don't want to take up too much.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Beautiful. Maybe we'll take one
Bye.
more call as the polls are closed. Mothman, 83% of the vote. I think
handily
beating that. Dan, you got a little how it went down?
From what we can tell at this point, it seems like the Rougarou was heavily favored to win this one. Just his vicious nature and his arsenal of both claws and teeth, razor sharp things like that. He did possess. It was pretty sure from the weigh-ins that he was a little bit lighter, actually, which is, you wouldn't expect that a flying creature versus this terrestrial dogman creature. more of a traditional werewolf type of build, that the Mothman would be a little bit heavier, but it was seen that the Rougarou was like, it seemed like he had the edge and agility. But now, from what we can tell, the Mothman was able to get take to the air, get the aerial advantage on, and then boom. The Rougarou seemed to be keeping up with him while he was on the ground, and like had him pinged in the corner for a second or two. But then the Mothman did something which he is actually known for. It seems that he broadcasted out like a large, bright pulse of light from his eyes, like a whitish red, and just stunned the Rougarou, and then took to the air and came down with a absolutely enormous aerial slam maneuver that put the Rougarou down for the count, and that was it. And the real downfall of the Rougarou is that he came forward and took off his white glove and said, "Sir, I do declare that I'm going to challenge you." Ah! Dead.
Boom.
Right? Yeah. There is no handshakes in Cryptic Crush-a-thon.
Yeah, the Rougarou's adherence to protocols and civility win.
Yeah. So Mothman's also moving.
Mothman's moving on
to the quarterfinals of the Cryptic Crush-a-thon. There can only be one, so every week we're going to slowly whittle it down.
Pick away at the bracket.
Zell, did we have another caller on the line?
We have one.
Let's do it.
The pressure is on.
Yeah.
The final segment of the show. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello, you're live. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling from California, Sacramento. It's Duchess of Doobies.
It's who?
What's going on?
Yep.
Can you hear me? All right. It's Duchess of Doobies. She's calling.
Oh, Duchess of Doobies. Hell yeah. Okay. There we go. What do you got for us tonight?
How are you guys doing tonight?
Fucking awesome.
Hey, okay.
Yes, you are. I either have a dead grandma possession or a hat guy sighting.
Dead grandma possession.
You're gonna make us choose between Lou Bega.
Not possession, more like poltergeist.
More like a poltergeist. Not possession.
Right, well, hit us with what you think's the best.
Yeah, you go. All the pressure's on you to end the story in the greatest possible way. So give us your best.
Well, the thing is, it's one story, but I don't know what it could be. So that's why we got to theorize.
Okay, perfect.
So here we go. So I was living in Puerto Rico for the summer, staying with my aunt. She has 10 kids. So very busy household. The way that the apartments are set up, like our whole family lives in one building essentially, and they took over all the apartments essentially. So I moved out there for a little while after my grandma passed. And of course, the one empty apartment that is ready for me to stay for the whole, summer is my grandma's empty apartment. So that already made it kind of creepy. So basically one night me and my cousins were in my grandma's room, which was obviously where the bed and vanity and everything was set up. We were getting ready to go out for the night. And my little cousin, she was, at this time, I was probably like 16, still doing things we shouldn't have been doing, but my little cousin was about 9. And again, we're in Puerto Rico, so they bring up to me, I'm the Americanized cousin. So they bring up to me Bloody Mary. So I'm trying to be the big cousin, being like, that doesn't exist. That's fake, this and that. Still don't believe in that, but hey, you can decide what you want to decide at the end. So we go to the bathroom, shut the shutters. It's like those old metal shutters where you have to like crank them. It's not really like a window. Yeah. So we go in there. There's still a little bit of light creeping through or whatever. My cousin's behind me and she's holding on to me and we're looking in the mirror and I'm like, look. So we say the deed, say it 3 times. We're looking at each other in the mirror like some dumbasses. And I'm like, look, we're good. We're chilling. So then we walk out and we continue getting ready for the night. Me and my older cousin, which was her sister. We're girls, so we're getting ready together. As I take off my shirt, my cousin she says, what's that? And on my back, I had welts. It was 2 scratches. Each scratch had it had 3 lines. They looked like claws. And I had welts going down from the top of my shoulders to like my mid back. And no one had touched me within that 5 to 10 minute period of me going from in the bathroom to back to the bedroom. So after that happened, of course, we're like, okay, what the fuck? Okay, obviously we're kids, so we're like, you know, telling ghost stories, or this could be that could be that, whatever. I'm still trying to be the big cousin and trying to be like, oh, that's nothing. It's nothing. Meanwhile, I'm shaking my fucking boots. So again, there's 10 cousins. So one of the older siblings comes in, a boy comes in and starts fucking with us, and he turns off the light and runs out of the room. So the way that the room is set up, there's like, you know, you walk into a room and there's just like a little tiny hallway and then the room opens up. I don't know if you can kind of imagine that. It's kind of like a tiny little corridor and then the room opens up. So that's where the light switch is, where the door is, essentially, right next to the door. So he turns off the light. We're sitting on the bed and runs out. So my little cousin, which we just did the Bloody Mary thing, she's freaking out. So I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I can't see in the dark. So my eyes are like trying to adjust. And so I get up. She's holding on to me by my waist. And I'm literally just waving my arms in like trying to catch a wall to get the light switch. As my eyes are adjusting, the light was on the hallway. So you could see the light coming through the bottom of the door just a little bit as your eyes start adjusting. And as soon as I made eye contact with what my brain was trying to figure out what the fuck this was, my cousin right behind me that was holding on to me, literally like just in complete tears, scream right in my ear. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, she must have seen whatever the fuck I just seen, even though we didn't even talk about it. So now I'm like basically just like scraping at the wall, trying to get this the light switch on. And as soon as I get the light switch on, obviously there's nothing fucking there. But I swear to you, as soon as my eyes adjusted, and it was like so cohesive, my eyes adjusted, I saw the silhouette. This motherfucker was just standing on the inside of the room. So you could see the silhouette. It looked like his arms or their arms were kind of like, they're holding them above their shoulders, kind of like in like a menacing kind of thing. And you could see claws, and this motherfucker had a top hat on. I was like so confused. And then the lights come on, we're like screaming, what the fuck? And then everyone comes running in the room, and that happened. But yes, you guys need to tell me, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, well, everyone knows it's a fact. All of Puerto Rico is haunted.
This is true.
Exactly. And she just passed away there, like literally not even a couple months. So we're already on our toes, like, yeah.
I mean, could be.
It's
well, that's
how irresponsible are you to do this, to traumatize your little cousins like this?
No, I didn't. I swear. That's the thing. Like, if anything, they would have fucking traumatized.
Well, I know, but you involved them, and they're obviously the ones
traumatized.
willing this thing into existence. We don't have that kind of power. The little kids do, right? You were tapped into whatever they were imagining there, and they obviously summoned the Hat Man.
Well, so the Hat Man takes Bloody Mary requests now?
The Hat Man could be many, many different forms.
He's a man of many hats.
I was just,
as they say.
There we go. Okay, because I was very confused how it started off with trying to poke fun at Bloody Mary, and then it ended up being fucking Welt and Hat Man sightings. I've never been able to understand the cohesiveness of that.
And did you ever have any issues like in the building or anything? Was it like a reoccurring thing where?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Getting haunted.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of it. We saw our grandma on the porch, on the rocking chair, a week after she passed.
Well,
So like people were down on the street walking past the buildings, because the way that these buildings are, it's 4 floors. You have your patios with it's like gated patio. And then it's only 2 apartments on each side. So like the stairwell's right in the middle. So, yeah, there was at least 2 sightings where she was saw on her patio, just from our little building. It's a bunch of buildings together, but just from our building where our family is, a week after she passed, 2 people they didn't know that she had passed, and they saw her on her patio, on her rocking chair.
She wasn't fully ready to pass.
Came
back for a couple other, little haunt,
I don't know.
Little rock.
Seeing the Hat Man's a weird thing. I've seen him. Tons of other people have seen the Hat Man.
I've never experienced anything like that. That was the most fucked up shit. As far as like spirit entity, like that was really, really like random.
Terrifying.
Awesome.
Touch Stoobies, we got to let you go. Thanks for calling in. And
thanks,
if
guys.
anyone else has ever seen the Hat Man and you weren't asleep, let us know. Give us a call.
Peace.
Next Cosmic Channels is going to be, or Cosmic Channels, ATT Live is going to be June 25th. You can check it out. Someone in the chat saying that we got to go to the judge's scorecard on that Rougarou Mothman, because if you kill a Rougarou, don't you become a Rougarou? So
Mothman is now also a Rougarou.
So Mothman is now also a Rougarou.
We don't know the logistics of that one. If you want to support the boys, you can support us in the chat using the super chat function. Those of you who didn't know, there's hidden ones. If you tip the right amount, there's prizes, stickers, shirts, sweaters. None were triggered tonight, so I'm just going to leave them in there. There's 4 or 5 hidden ones. If you give it some thought, you might think of them. There's some pretty good prizes to be won. Patreon.com/Alien Theorists. Anything else before we go?
That's it.
No.
All right.
Signing
Peace. Everybody, keep those eyes on the skies.